Welcome everybody. My name is Ashley Conway, and tonight I'm going to give you kind of an insider view of what honours life is like. So look, about me, I am a first year PhD student, so I just finished my honours year last year, which means, 18 months ago I was sitting in the exact same position as you guys were. I had very little idea of what the honours world was like, what the expectations of me were, and how really to go that transition from going from a third year student into that research world, into this real professional world of science and medical research. So I had a focus really on immunology and human pathology. Those were the subjects that I really liked. So those were the fields that I really knew that I wanted to give a crack at. But no matter what subjects that you did, whether in science or biomed, you were able to find some sort of project which is catering towards your specific interests in medical research. So you do not have to have a specific background in anything. You can come out fresh, and the research year the honours year will be starting from the very beginning, no matter what. But it is important, obviously, to know your interests. You would by now know the subjects that you're most interested in and the subjects that you would most likely like to have a go at in the honours year. So how I got onto honours is basically I had a lecturer, which was Stephen Jane on that day, and I just came up to him afterwards and asked, do you take on students? And he said yes. So that was the beginning of how I got a hold of a certain topic which I saw in a lecture, which I thought, hey, I could do that. So what I did was I did my honours year, and I did it in clinical haematology at the ACVD. I won an award for it, I don't know how. And then now I'm my first year student. Now I'm a first year in doing PhD in basically the exact same stuff that I was doing last year. So I was able to take what I learnt in honours, and now I'm doing it by myself. So, and I'm also tutoring, so. So I guess a lot of you are thinking that this is going to be a very scary thing, and I think they brought me in here to kind of, get rid of a lot of that fear that you guys have that this is going to be the most difficult experience of your life. It's not. So the reason that I did my honours is that I was a fairly average student. By the end of third year, I had an average of about 67%, not that great. So, but I did have a lot of interest in getting some hands-on stuff and doing a project and getting into the lab, being able to do research that I knew would have some sort of clinical component to it, getting out there and having a go. So I did honours because I do like the hands-on stuff a lot more. And I did have a general idea of the fields that I wanted to work in. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, but I knew the fields that I was interested in based on the subjects that I'd been doing. And so I wanted to have a lot of I wanted to get a lot of independence out of it, which is what you definitely get as an honours student. You are in control of your own year, and you are in control of your own research and your own project. So that's what I wanted to get really out of the entire honours year, and that's why I really chose it. By the end of it, my average skyrocketed. So I ended up with an average of 86, yeah? So honours year has that potential to boost average students turn them into very fantastic students. So going from third year, you are moving on from being a student that has timetables, you have lectures, you have exams, you have a strict outline of things that you have to do. You're moving now into a professional world in which you are in control of yourself. So this is the most independence that you're probably ever going to get. So yeah, you do have a lot of things that are different, obviously, and that transition can be a bit of a shocking to begin with, but you nestle in very quickly. You nestle into the routine of you don't have lectures to show up to anymore, but you have to come into the lab, you have work to do, you have to set your own goals, and you have people that obviously help you with those goals. So finding your honours project is a very simple procedure. It shouldn't be a very scary thing. Please do not be afraid of approaching people. You're about to go outside and you're about to meet dozens and dozens of professors and postdocs and researchers who just want to tell you everything that they know. And talk to as many people as you want. You should find something that you're able to work in for the next it's not even 10 months, it's about 8 or 9 months. It's a very, very short year. But you know the fields at which you are most passionate about, and there is going to be a project out there which is catered for you. There's going to be plenty of people out there. Try to organise interviews, try to go to the lab on lab tours, try to talk to PhD students like me who can give you a real insight of what that environment is like and what the people you're working with is like. It's always good to get a feel of, what the kind of the situation might be in the lab next year. And of course, always have a plan B as well. So you might have dead set, you might have look at your booklets and go, yep, I'm dead set on this project, I want to be that project. There's many of you here, yeah? So there's lots and lots of people who are going to be showing interest for the same things. Always have a plan B, have a plan C. It's better to do that way. So what do you expect out of it? These are just some frequently asked questions that I myself, in your position, would have loved to have heard a few, 18 months ago before starting honours. And I guess one of the most questions is, what is your expectation as a student coming into the lab? There's no general rule about it. You're not under any sort of, work contract or anything like that. The lab heads will be flexible, obviously, with you. It depends on what kind of lab you're working with. It depends on what kind of workload that you've got. So give and take, it is like a full work week, yeah? Is it hard to get a H1? Well, I got it, so I don't know how that happened. I was an average student and I got it, so it's not as difficult as you think. You're here because you're passionate about research, you're passionate about furthering your career, and therefore we already know that you guys are ready to put in the effort that you need, and with that effort you're able to get whatever mark that you aim for, yeah? I think this is one of the most important questions that I was thinking of when I was in your position is, can I keep my job? And yeah, of course you can. Very few labs will require you, it depends, I can't really speak for every lab, but you will most likely be able to do at least, a couple of days a week of work. If you have weekend jobs, you'll most likely be able to keep them, yeah? So don't panic about that. And we would be working in alone. I always thought that you would be thrown straight into the deep end. You're going from third year where you've had very little hands-on work, you know what a PCR machine is, but you kind of never ever done one before. You are not ever going to be alone, okay? You yourself will have a personal project that is catered for you. Your project, a thesis that you are writing specifically is your own, but you will be working with a supervisor, you'll be working with a lab head. Most likely you will also have other students in your lab which will be going through the same thing as you. So you're not alone. This is not an isolating thing at all, okay? You're surrounded by many, many people. All of them are here to help you as well. Do you need to actually get results in your honours to get a H1? No, of course not. Many honours projects will finish and you may not have all the results you need, but the fact is that you'll have some sort of story. You'll generate a story from all the research that you've done. You'll be able to present it in some form. And it doesn't matter what you actually do in your honours. It doesn't matter if you actually get a positive result. My results came back on the day that I handed my thesis in. So you do not have to panic that you must choose a project which has a definite start and end point, because it's not about that, it's about the journey, okay? And I guess a lot of people are really panicky about the thesis. It sounds really big and scary, but it's not really. Other than the thesis, you do have little bits here and there that they do assess you on as well, yeah? Small, it depends whether you're doing science or biomed and things like that. Your specific courses will be different, but there are other things amongst the thesis that they're doing. So they don't just start you at the start of the year and they go, right, we'll see you at the end of the year, yeah? You do have steps along the way, and it's good because it helps you direct. It's not 100% fully directed, it is directed by you, but you do have deadlines here and here and here and here which do help, okay? So the outcome is that you have an honours degree which can dramatically boost your GPA, which will be very, very helpful if you're looking into graduate studies. You can, obviously the greatest outcome of doing honours is that you get to jump ahead and go straight into a PhD without having to do a master's in between. There are also masters in certain fields as well. You can get into, you suddenly become very employable once you have an honours degree as well, because many research fields, working as technicians or research assistants or anything like that, they're always going to ask for 1 year lab experience. You always hear about that. This is that year where you get that hands-on experience. You'll get so many machines and processes and that you'll become familiar with, that you suddenly boost your employability quite a lot. You will develop a lot of skills, not just technical skills, but you also develop a lot of skills that will be useful later in life, such as talking right now as I'm doing, such as being able to write a thesis, be able to lay out your thoughts and lay out your research into readable material. These are all kind of skills that are going to help you in any sort of field, okay? And in the end, what you get is this product. You get this amazing thesis, this idea that you yourself has been working on, and you get to present it and be like, I did that. That's your thing that you can show off to the world. So you get this, yes, this is the amazing feeling that you get where you actually get to complete something which is personally catered towards you, yeah? So if you guys have any questions about what it's like, or any fears or any questions about honours life, please come find me. I'll be floating around and I'm happy to answer any of your questions if you have any really big concerns or worries, or if you just want to chat and see how my year was. So yeah, thanks guys.